You're listening to the Jōrni Podcast. How can we turn sleep into our own personal superpower? Stay tuned and get all the details in today's episode. Hi, I'm Petra Brunbauer, and with decades of experience with sadness, pain, anxiety, and stress, I finally figured out how to leave all that behind. And this podcast shows you how to break free permanently so you can reclaim your sanity and find the self-esteem and energy to go after the life you desire. With real talk about mental health, holistic healing, and the tough journey of coming out the other end. This is the Jōrni Podcast. Welcome to today's episode. Sleep is often the first thing we sacrifice when life gets busy, yet it plays one of the most essential roles in how we feel, think, and function. In this episode, we explore what happens when we begin to treat sleep as a foundation for well-being. Through the lens of both science and lived experience, we take a closer look at why quality sleep is so closely tied to our physical and emotional health. Bijoy E. John, MD, is a board-certified physician and practicing sleep specialist currently in private practice with over 25 years of experience in pulmonary critical care and sleep medicine. Based in Nashville, Tennessee, he treats both children and adults with various sleep disorders. Dr. John is the founder and medical director of Sleep Wellness Clinics of America, which offers in-person and online consultation, education, modern diagnostic modalities, home testing, and comprehensive treatment for a full spectrum of sleep disorders. He is also the founder of Sleep Fix Academy, which offers online courses, podcasts, and other resources to improve sleep quality, and serves as an affiliate assistant professor at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Medicine. Dr. John is a member of the American Academy of Chest Physicians, American Medical Association, and American Academy of Sleep Medicine. He was recognized as one of the top 100 physicians in Nashville for 2022 by My Nashville magazine. Additionally, he received the Top Sleep Specialist Award consecutively from 2015 to 2020 from Nashville Lifestyle magazine, as voted by his peers and patients. He is also mentioned in Who's Who as one of the top sleep physicians for 2023-2024. Let's meet Dr. Bijoy John. Hi, Dr. John. It's so great to have you on the podcast today. I've been looking forward to getting to chat with you because sleep as a superpower is such an impactful topic, and I feel like sleep is related to everything. So I really look forward to chatting with you today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Petra. Really, it is. Sleep is the superpower that we have, but most people don't realize. Everybody is compromising on sleep so they can hustle. But I'm of the opinion and belief that if you sleep better, you are supercharged and you will be better off by sleeping that extra 30 minutes or 1 hour to be at your optimal best every day.
I completely agree. And actually, I have to admit, that's what I did this morning. I traded my yoga class for another half hour of sleep, and I feel it was worth it. So I'm sure we'll be learning some about that today. And for starters, Dr. John, would you like to share maybe a little bit about yourself and your story, maybe a piece of your journey that connects to what it is that you do today, and maybe share with our listeners also what it is that you do today?
All right. I'm a full-time practicing sleep specialist. I take care of children and adults of all ages. I went to med school when I was 17 years old. And early on, I found out if I slept well the night before the exam, I actually did better because not to burn the midnight oil. So I knew there was something about sleep, but not many people talk about it. So then I went on to become an intensive care specialist where if you leave these patients alone for a little bit, they slept better. They actually recovered better. Even the sickest of all of us, when we get really sick in the intensive care unit, they got better. So I knew that. So that's when, my curiosity was, my professor said, hey, why don't you specialize in sleep also? also, and then I specialized in this journey, and then I become a full-time intensivist and also a sleep specialist. Even there, when I was able to see the relationship between poor sleep is associated with some of the conditions like mental health problems, blood pressure, diabetes. So that's a unifying. And then what happens when you have uncontrolled blood pressure? You are likely to have a stroke, and then diabetes. You have uncontrolled diabetes. All those things land in the ICU. So instead of practicing reactionary medicine, where I'm able to help those patients, and then I decided after 25 years, I'm going to do this full time to change the world so that I can promote good sleep, so prevent diseases. So that's the journey I am on. So I gave up, I have four medical specialties. 5 years ago, I gave three of them up. The last 5 years, I practiced exclusively sleep medicine. Then I decided to write a book to share it to the world. I'm on many podcasts. Thanks, Petra, for having me on this Jōrni podcast. So that's my mission, because I also suffered from poor sleep during med school. And when I lost my mom, then I started my business. So, but I've overcome, and I give people the 7 simple strategies. I even have an acronym for that we can discuss as we go along, because I was able to overcome it holistically, naturally, without any medications. So I believe, I can share with this world. I do this on a daily basis with my patients, but now we need to take it to the entire world, because I believe when you sleep better, you're a better person, you're better functioning, and you're more peaceful, and the world can be more peaceful just by sleeping a little bit better.
I like the sounds of that. That sounds like a wonderful thing for the whole world. And I think people are very concerned that as their stress levels rise, they get less sleep. It's kind of a bit of a catch-22, and it catches up with them mentally, physically. So tell us a little bit about what the body actually does when it's sleeping that is so important, because some people think, okay, I go to sleep, my body does some kind of healing, I dream a little bit, I wake up, I'm good to go. But what does the body actually do that is so important while we're sleeping?
Great question. So, our brain is a super powered computer. So, like anytime, even with all our devices, we need to unplug it so it can be fully charged. So, you said, some of those things. We actually heal in our sleep. You mentioned something about when you don't sleep well, you're more anxious, and then you're more depressed. And then when you're more anxious and depressed, you don't sleep well. So just by improving your sleep, you'll be less anxious and less depressed. And so it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. I'm trying to get people out of it. Next, we actually heal in our sleep. And the dreaming is one of those, it's a conflict resolution. And also we grow memories. Whatever we learned is consolidated in sleep. That's why when I was saying preparation for the exam, all those things are like little pieces of information that gets organized in deep sleep. Also, we grow in our sleep. Human growth hormone is maximally secreted. It's very useful for children, but also in adult with muscle healing and glucose metabolism. It is very important. And then there are hormones like norepinephrine and cortisol. When you don't sleep well, they are hyper secreted. So our body does not get a chance. So that's why people with high blood pressure, their blood pressure, all of our blood pressure is high during the day, but at nighttime it's supposed to go down. But if you don't sleep well, your blood pressure regulation does not happen. Same thing with blood sugar. There is another system in our brain called the glymphatic system, which is activated in deep sleep. This is the auto cleansing mechanism which cleans all the plaques in our brain. So as the plaque builds up, that's the cause of dementia. So we are safeguarding that by sleeping better. So another big hormone, the thyroid hormone, which actually stops producing in deep sleep. So if you don't sleep well, the thyroid does not get a chance to turn off, right? So people with thyroid problems can be related to sleep. Plus the mood. If you sleep better, you are in a great mood. Your relationship is better. You're not likely to make errors when you don't. Poor sleep is equivalent to being drunk. So you're at risk for accidents. You're not happy within yourself. Plus, when you rest well, you are able to exercise better, and also diet. When you sleep better, there's a couple of hormones called leptin and ghrelin. We need more of leptin and less aggressive ghrelin for our, weight loss journey. But when you don't sleep well, this ratio is altered. So from head to toe, and of course, the testosterone hormone is secreted, towards the morning. So good sleep is needed for that. So head to toe, and also to look beautiful, your skin, we have melatonin receptors on our skin, which protect our skin. So when you see a person who's not slept well, you can see their eyes, and the elasticity of the skin is very low. So it helps with your feeling, beautiful. And same thing with the hair. There are melatonin receptors in your scalp. When you don't sleep well, hair loss, skin, the way you feel, the thyroid, blood pressure, diabetes, cognition. So everything is, and mental health is all related to sleep. You got me on this question. So sorry for this loaded answer.
That is perfect because, as I suspected, sleep really is connected to everything. So
Yes.
it's really important that we get enough sleep. And how do we know actually how much sleep we need? Because we hear the standard sort of 8 hours, but is that the same for children or as we age? Or how does a person know when they have actually slept enough?
Right. Children need more hours of sleep because, like newborns and toddlers, they need about 16, 18 hours of sleep. Teenagers requires about close to 10 hours. Adults need about somewhere between 7 and 8 hours of sleep because we have many stages and cycles. So the misinformation here, within all of us, there's a few of us who are short sleepers. We can get away with 4 hours, 5 hours. So somebody like Elon Musk, he's a short sleeper. But that misinformation goes to the world. Hey, you don't need to sleep. You need to work. Why are you sleeping? So the misinformation spreads, and people are like, so that's the problem with today's world. Everything's, spreads so fast. You're lazy. You need to work. Sleep is overrated. You can sleep when you die. Those kind of, all those things, are spread around. So to answer a question, in the morning, after sleeping 8 hours consistently for 2 weeks, if you're still tired, then you might have a sleep disorder, medical condition, mental condition, or a sleep debt. So, but make sure you sleep. The commonest cause of not feeling well the next day is because you didn't sleep enough. Right. So we have to resolve that. That's why I give people a 2 to 3 week. You have to follow that cycle. And then if you're still tired, so that's how the easy way to know in the morning you're ready to go to work, or you need multiple alarms to wake up, then you have a, sleep debt.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And, at the same time, I'm also wondering, does it matter when we sleep? So, as adults, some of us are night owls. We like to go to bed at 1 or 2 a.m. And some of us like sort of the 9, 10 p.m. Is there a benefit to sleep before midnight, sort of around 10 p.m.? Does that affect our body cycles at all or the hormones? Or does it not really matter when we sleep?
Great question. This is actually a loaded question. The ideal time to sleep is 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Do you know why? Because the sweet sleep called the non-REM stage 3, that happens early in the night. As the night progresses 2, 3, 4, we have more REM sleep, which is not a very restful sleep. And also our sleep is linked to core body temperature. And as the temperature drops, more melatonin is secreted. So what happens when you're teenage years, because of the revved up, hormones, the clock actually moves forward. This is called delayed sleep phase syndrome. And also, folks are on the phone. And so what happens? Your clock is slowly moving forward. And then, but today, what happens is everybody's on the technology and devices. We've all moved our clock forward. But the challenge is so what is 10 p.m. for most of us could be 1 a.m. That's when people go to sleep. And then as the night progresses, your quality of sleep is not good. And when the light comes in, you wake up just like babies wake up because we revolve around the light. And so now it is 8 o'clock. There is noise. Your sleep quality is not great. So for all practical purposes, the ideal sleep time is 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. because early in the night between 10 p.m. and 12 is the sweet sleep happens. And as the night progresses, you get more of REM sleep, and that's not really a restful state of sleep.
Thank you for explaining that because I was wondering about that for a long time. So, because I love to go to sleep really late at like 2 a.m. sometimes, but I feel it now. I don't feel rested the next day and I don't feel energetic. So, I'm really hearing what you're saying about the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I think that's a good window. So, now in today's world, we have a lot of stress, and a lot of people don't just have chronic stress. They might also have mental health challenges, or they might be dealing with chronic pain. So they might want to sleep, but they're just not able to. They might wake up frequently during the night with anxiety, or they might be woken up by pain or all sorts of other things. So, you touched on the fact that you actually help people sleep and get good sleep. So, when we have challenges that don't let us sleep, where do we start with that to start moving towards actually getting restful sleep?
Great question. So, your viewers are listening. I have an acronym for that. It's called Sleep Now. SLEEPNOW. So this is I've used 25 years of my experience to develop these strategies, which I use on all my patients who come and see me, and including my own self and my family. So I'm ready to go if you are ready to hear about it.
Absolutely. Let's share this with our listeners. I think this is one of the really, really important pieces to getting good sleep. So go ahead and share that with us.
Okay, so the first in the SLEPNOW, the S is the schedule. So for anything, we have to have a schedule. So the perfect time to sleep, like I mentioned, is 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Let's prioritize sleep. So it's a little bit of caveat. Like for example, you shared that you go to bed, later. So if some people have this condition called insomnia, they go to bed on 10 and they can't fall asleep till 1. For those people, I'll tell them to go closer to 1 a.m. as you start, 12:30. But the key here is you have to wake up at 6 a.m. So if you consistently wake up at 6 a.m., you're creating a sleep debt. So then you'll start falling asleep now at 12:30, then you'll start falling asleep 12:15 and then midnight and 11:30. I am able to move the clock, the other way. Right? So that's what. So schedule is the number one. Make sure you prioritize. And the best way to get the schedule is not when you go to sleep, consistently wake up at 6 a.m. so you can move the clock, so that's more important. Okay. Set an alarm at 6 and wake up and then your sleep will follow. The next is the L in the acronym is low light, low noise, low temperature. The human sleep hormone called melatonin is mostly secreted in darkness. The word mela in melatonin means darkness. And also, it is secreted optimally at a lower temperature. So keep your temperature in your bedroom cool. And then noise, of course, affects the quality of sleep. So the next is the big one. E in the acronym is electronics. So I say do not bring your electronics close to you for many reasons. Everybody knows about the light from the phone goes sends the signal to the eye and then tells the brain it is still daytime. Plus, in the middle of the night, you wake up. We all wake up sometimes, and you look. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. Well, it's only 2 o'clock. The cognitive activity happens. Not to mention the text messages, the bills, the email. Oh, your mind is racing. Did that person email me back? Or did they like my photo I posted last night? So that temptation. So I tell people to leave the phone outside the bedroom and set an alarm so you literally can walk and turn that alarm off. So that's what I do in my own life. I'm not giving a chance for my mind to be more active. The next E is exercise. So what happens with exercise is any exercise releases endorphins and also makes body heat. Remember, melatonin will only be secreted, in colder temperature. So your body's revved up. So if you have to exercise, make sure you exercise in the morning. But if there's a chance, make sure you exercise at least 3 to 4 hours prior. So by 6 p.m., you should be done exercising. Okay. So SLEP. In P is power off your mind. This is absolutely a challenge. Not many of us are able to power off our mind because number one, we don't give a chance to our mind to rest, right? So all those things I said, the schedule, the light, the no phones, no exercise, you're giving a chance to rest. Here I teach two techniques. These are my own techniques. One is the yoga nidra. Nidra means nothingness. It's called the shavasana. It's called the corpse pose. You lay down with your palms high, and if you have to lay on your back and then start focusing from your scalp all the way down, it's like a body scan, which helps us to sleep much easy. And then the next technique is vivid imagination, where when you lay in bed, I don't think about the problems with my colleagues or my family or friends. I think about the last show I saw. I start thinking about something of the abstract. And then within like few seconds, my thought process takes over and then I'm able to fall asleep. So all this, I have practical ways to do it. I have it on my website so people can do that by themselves. So now it's P. Next is NO. That's a combination. No to worries. Because the commonest thing I hear, Dr. John, I'm worrying in my bed. So I tell people we all worry. I have to do my PhD dissertation. I got to get ready for the Jōrni podcast. I think about all that between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. So dedicated. So at 8 p.m., I'm writing it down. Okay, I need to ask Petra this question. I'll ask her tomorrow. I write it down. I don't worry about it. I'm done. So the thing is, you have to prepare to go into sleep. It's like a 6 or 7 course meal. You have to slowly work. You have to have your music, your wine, your cheese. It's a song and dance. So unfortunately, in the hustle culture we are here, Petra, we want it to be like an on and off switch, but it's actually a dimmer. You just slowly have to work it. So, okay, now the last one is W, is win. Here, win means to lose ourselves, right? It is contradictory to the hustle culture where we win, win, win. We want to win. The hustle culture has met its match in sleep. Sleep is ancient. You can't. Data, everybody wants a lot of data. Everybody wants something to, instant. It won't happen because it's your mind. Unless you relax your mind and work at it, that's the only way. So here, win is the paradox. Win. This is in life where winning is actually losing. You have to lose your way. So that's the sleep now. SLEPNOW. Schedule, low light, low noise, low temperature. E is no to electronics. The next E is no to exercise at least 3 to 4 hours. P is power of your mind with those two techniques I taught, the yoga nidra and vivid imagination. NO is no to worries, dedicated worrying time. And then W is by winning. So this is my magic formula. It works holistically. And I've been doing this for many, many years. I've been teaching many people and it works. And then you become a super powered, great person.
I love this acronym, and I hope our listeners are taking note as well, or even pause the podcast later and go back and take some notes on that. Because I feel like when we're going all day long, we have so many things that are happening when we have work, we have our families and things to take care of. It is unrealistic to expect to just flip the switch at 10 p.m., lay down and go to sleep. So it makes a lot of sense that we need to take some time to prepare, to power down a little bit, to unplug and to prepare for our body to come into sleep. So thank you for sharing that. I think this is going to be so helpful for our listeners. And I'm actually going to go through this little checklist tonight to make sure that I'm preparing for proper sleep. And what do we do when we are woken up, for example, by worries or anxiety in the middle of the night? Sometimes I think that also has to do with where we are in life. Hormonal changes for women in midlife can be challenging. So are there natural ways to help with that as well so that we can maybe go back to sleep or find a way to come back to sleep?
It's a great question. I get that asked a lot. So we are naturally, because the sleep has got so many cycles and stages. I wish it was like down and up, right? But there's many. So when the transition happens, we are vulnerable to wake up. Plus, if you snore, then you might have conditions like sleep apnea. If you're restless, moving your legs, you might have a condition called restless leg syndrome, or you might have limb movement disorder. So you might have many disorders. Pain can affect your sleep. And then mental health like anxiety and depression can affect your sleep. And then medical conditions like, people get short of breath like asthma, COPD or emphysema, all those conditions. So when I see somebody, I have to ask them, when I examine them and I ask them, do you have a heart problem? Do you have a lung problem? Do you have a medical problem? Do you have a mental health problem? Do you have pain? So I go through all that and then I rule out all that. And because you have to address all that. And do you snore? Do you move your limbs? So when I rule all that out, they have really waking up in the middle of the night. Remember, everybody wakes up. Most times, people, even me, I woke up last night, so I went to the restroom. Then what happens, what I do later is most important. I keep my eyes kind of like in a state. I don't look at the clock because there's no clock in my room. I give that mind to stay in the same zone. So because I don't wake up. And once you see the time, the game is over, right? And so, okay, let's say, but you're asking me, Dr. John, I've done it, but I'm still not able to fall asleep when I lay down. So now what I do is if I lay down and I can't sleep, I leave my bedroom. So I do that in my own life. So I go there and read a book or watch television. I don't get on my phone because phone comes with emails and texts. So I watch something and then actually fall asleep. Remember, you don't go to the dining table to get hungry. You go there when you're hungry to eat. Same thing, you should not be like trying to get sleep in your bed. Leave the room, come back. Like you said, hormonal changes, menopause, then there's hot flashes, the sweating. And then, so if you're all that, you can have hormone replacement guided by your physician. And so that's why I dedicated a chapter exclusively for women because women don't sleep well. One of my chapters in my book is, for children, for women to sleep so better. So that's what I will do. Waking up in the middle of the night is a common thing, but make sure you don't have any phone or anything. But even still, if you can't sleep, leave the room and then come back to the bedroom.
That's a great insight because sometimes we try to kind of force ourselves to go back to sleep and we lay there for an hour or two and it's just absolute torture. So better to then get up, do something different, let your body settle back in and get ready for sleep. So there's a gold nugget for our listeners again for sleep. Now you touched on your book. So tell us a little bit about your book and what's in it and what listeners can expect if they were to purchase your book. I'm guessing it's about sleep, but what's in your book?
My book was published, about exactly a year ago. It's called Nobody is Sleeping, the 7 proven sleep strategies. That's the strategies that I mentioned. It was when I was released, it was best-selling on Amazon. I have many reviews, but the best part is people call my office and thank me for, hey, I didn't know about sleep, and that's what is most gratifying as an author because I'm able to change lives of people. So it's available everywhere, wherever books are sold. It's on Amazon and anywhere else, Barnes and Nobles, wherever, all over the world, it's there. So and also have my Sleep Fix Academy, www.sleepfixacademy.com, where you can order my book or listen to or you can take a self-help course to improve your sleep. So I'm on this journey. One other thing I mentioned, even after, I forgot to mention, even if you come back and not able to sleep well, just lay there. A little bit of sleep is better. This is after you went, but then wake up at 6 o'clock. And then what happened the next night, your sleep will come back. So I forgot to mention that during that course. So coming back. So that's my book, that's my journey, and that's my course. And because I really believe I'm a better person because I sleep. I've seen that in many, many people's lives. And I want to wish everybody to sleep better because whatever is happening in your life, focus on sleep. Why you are sleeping and focus on it. You can be really better by improving your sleep than compromising your sleep better.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for sharing those resources. And the Sleep Fix Academy, is this an online space for people to come take courses, or do you have people you work with in person as well?
So, as a physician, it becomes into the licensing, and I can only treat people where I am. So people can find me if they still want to come. They can come to my office and see me. But it's a lot of information, all my TV appearances, sleep nuggets, blogs, podcasts, and then the course, self-help course, to help the sleep journey is all available there.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And I do have one more curiosity I would like to ask you because sometimes in life, we know that there's going to be times that will be challenging. And this might be around, like you said, maybe writing some dissertations or taking board exams or having a newborn. We know that there are going to be times where we might not get as much sleep as we want to or need to. Can we make up for those times when our life kind of goes back to normal a little bit and we can catch up? Can we still repair maybe some of that damage that was caused by not sleeping enough? Or is this sort of a thing that the door closes on, that if we don't get enough sleep, then that can set the stage for illnesses or diseases that are irreparable? How does that work in the body?
Great question. So the sleep debt can be erased. So, we go through it, and I do prescribe something called bed rotting. I tell people to just rot in your bed for 2, 3 days. I did this in my own children. In college, they never sleep, and they say they have a sleep problem, this problem. I said, just come on home, give me all your phones. I just feed them, and they sleep for like 16, 18 hours for like 3, 4 days, and then they get better. Same thing with during exams. It's going to be very stressful. My daughter is in law school right now. I said, it's okay, just get through it. And then 3 days, after you finish your exam, just go and sleep. And then she gets better. But it's not irreparable. The human body is so resilient. Unless you have a sleep disorder, some of those conditions like sleep apnea can have, irrevocable damage because you lose brain cells. So if you're snoring, that's totally different. If you're not sleeping well, that's called insomnia. That's what the gist of our topic today was. But it is repairable. You can recuperate all that. Even if you're a newborn, hand it over to your spouse or whoever is taking care of the baby. Go ahead and prioritize your sleep, and then you can erase the sleep debt.
That's really great news, because that is worrying, and some of the things that are not reversible, but just goes to show how important sleep actually is for our lives, for our well-being. So thank you for sharing that. And we, of course, will be linking to all of Dr. John's offerings in the show notes as well. So be sure to check there for how you can connect with the Sleep Fix Academy if you are located where Dr. John is located. And I believe that is in Tennessee, then you can work with him as well directly. And we will be linking to his book, Nobody's Sleeping, as well. So if you are feeling the issues of not being able to sleep, or you're not getting quality sleep, or maybe the conditions are not quite right, you have a lot of noise or light or a really hot place that you're sleeping in, then you can use the acronym that Dr. John mentioned and hopefully bring your sleep back into a good schedule, a good place, do some sleep hygiene, and you can get some quality sleep between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And again, we'll be linking to all of those resources so our listeners can hopefully get much better sleep in their lives as well and enjoy some of those health benefits and mental health benefits that come from that. And Dr. John, I just want to thank you so much for being here today and joining me and sharing with our listeners and myself this really, really important topic and so many gold nuggets about sleeping well. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, and it was my pleasure. And I appreciate helping me on my journey to help people to sleep better. Thank you, Petra.
Absolutely. I feel like this is such an important topic because it touches on so many different well-being points that we definitely need to talk about this more, especially as everyone seems to be more stressed out and more in pain and more unhappy. It's even more important that we get better sleep. So thank you so much for this amazing work that you do, and take really good care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen in. If you enjoy the Jōrni Podcast, please support us by subscribing, sharing on social media, and leaving us a review. We appreciate you. And you can find more of The Jōrni on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our website, thejōrni.com. Sending you love and courage, and see you next time.